Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny. I am from Jenny Card Designs. Thank you so much for stopping by to spend some time with me here today. I have created this YouTube channel to share paper crafting, tutorials, and inspiration with all of you. So if you like the content that you see here today, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you along my card making journey. In today's video, we're going to be doing things a little bit different and shaking it up today. I'm going to be using a stamp set by Gina K Designs, designed by Hannah Drapinski, and this is going to be the Majestic Blooms. So let's jump in with today's project.
Okay, so here are the products that we'll be using for this card today. We'll start with the Gina K Designs Majestic Peony stamp set. So we're going to use this one, and we'll use one of the greetings as well. Now, I have not made this card as of yet. This is my first attempt at it, so I thought I would try out more of a live sort of recording. It's not quite live. I can still edit out some things because I have a noisy family that might interrupt at some points, but at least this way I can try to get videos uploaded to YouTube faster than doing voiceovers. Okay, so that being said, we'll get back into this. So we're going to use the peony stamp. We'll use the Misty, some ink, a brush. I have some cardstock here, and let's jump in. Okay, so this is here to reflect off of my overhead light so that you don't see that. And let's jump in with this peony stamp. So we've got, this is a very large stamp set. Oh, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use this. So I'm going to just place it off to the side sort of here. And pick that up with the Door of the Misty. And I'm going to use Gina K Designs watermark ink. And oh, I forgot, anti-static powder bag. Use that first so that there are no excess embossing powder bits that we don't want. Ink up the stamp. Sometimes I like to do a little bit of a twisting motion. So I pat and twist. I'm not sure if that gets any better or does any better of a job, but it's just a habit for me. And just grab my microfiber cloth. It helps me get good even pressure. Okay. So we'll just move this off to the side, and I have a Brutus Monroe Alabaster embossing powder. It's nice bright white. And I'll just sprinkle that over my stamped image. And tap off the excess, and I've got it in a coffee filter here so that I can just pour anything back, any extra back into my jar. Get that cleaned up, because if I don't clean it up, I'll be sure to spill it at some point. Now I'm just going to heat up my heat gun, and I won't put you through that, but I'll edit that part out. And now we'll use some ink blending brush and some Gina K Designs bubblegum pink ink, and I'll just ink up my brush. This is just a set of brushes I bought off of Amazon for like $10. They work amazing. And we'll just kind of start off and go in a circular motion, just highlighting those peonies. I don't want anything too harsh, or I just want a nice soft highlight. And I'll just gently go over in circles. And I like this little defined edge around the outside of the cardstock, so I'll try to be consistent and create that around the whole sort of edge. and just lightly blending it out to nothing. So concentrating it closer to the edge. So you can be as light or as heavy-handed as you like here. I just want a sort of like a medium color to a soft blend out. Okay, I'm happy with that. That looks really super pretty. Okay, so I want to clean up any ink that I've got here so I don't smudge my project. And then I'll also wipe off any of the embossing powder that might be sitting on top of, I'll wipe off the embossing powder so that any ink sitting on top of there where it's resisting doesn't go onto my hands or smudge or anything like that. So that's it, just a nice soft light blend. I really like that. Okay, next step, I have this piece of Tim Holtz metallic craft cardstock, and I just want to mat that behind my peony here. So I have a card base. This is a heavy base weight cardstock. It's 120 pounds, nice and heavy. I'll link to the cardstock that I use. It's from Amazon. It's called Accent Opaque Digital, and I use that for I use the 80-pound weight for my stamping, and then I have the 120-pound for my card bases. And I really, really like this cardstock. And it's affordable, so it's a nice quality cardstock that doesn't break the bank. So moving on, I'm going to grab my trimmer. So let's see here. My card base is 6.5 inches by 5 inches. So I want to mat my layer evenly. So if I've got 5 inches across, the most I'm going to have is 5.5 from here to here, so I need 1/2 inch from here to here and here to here. I don't know if my math makes any sense. My math makes sense in my mind. Basically what I need to do is cut off 1/4 inch from here. So we get a 4 by 5.5 inch panel, so that it mats evenly on a 6.5 inch card base. Does that make sense? So our layer will then go underneath to create a nice accent. So our layer will then be 4.5 inches. So we'll just increase the next layer by 1/2 inch. So if this is 4, the next layer will be 4.5. And turn it this way, and if this is 5.5, we're going to increase it by 1/2 inch, and that will make it 6. So we've got, I hope this is making sense, and so we've got a 5.5 by 6.5 inch card base and a 4.5 by 6 inch layer, and then a 4 inch by 5.5 inch layer. Okay, so next step, I want to put some craft foam in behind this to get some even raised dimension. I have a bunch of sheets cut up in my drawer here off to the side. I'm just going to cut it just a little bit smaller so that it is hidden behind it. So I know that that panel is 4 by 5.5. So I'm just going just a little less than 4. And I'll do just a little less than 5.5. Okay, I would like to cut out a little bit of this metallic cardstock to save for my sentiment, so that since this is the back layer, no one's going to see if we take a piece out of here. So let's go ahead and do that first. So I'll just pull out my self-healing cutting mat. I don't like to cut on my Tim Holtz glass mat. I know some people do, I just don't like to because I like to use it for filming as well, and I don't want to scratch it up too bad. So I've got a little pen blade knife here, and I'm just going to roughly cut out a chunk out of the middle, and I can use my trimmer to straighten out the piece here, or a die to cut it out so it's nice and even when I go to use it for my sentiment. So just light, even pressure and multiple passes is the best way to use a craft knife. So you don't have to press too hard. You can take your time and go slower than I did. You don't need to rush through it. But for the purpose of this video, this is my first ever sort of live, not quite live, but live recording. And I want to try to make this as seamless as possible. Okay, so let's get this adhered to the craft foam. This is a Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. I really like this glue. It's quick drying and strong. I'll just get my foam glued down there, and then we want to adhere this to this. I'll just glue the outside area, get that adhered together. So this is just by eye. You can measure if you want to make sure you've got it nice and straight, but I'm not too particular. It doesn't have to be perfect. I do my best, and that's all that matters, as long as I'm happy with it. Okay, and then we'll flip this over and get this adhered to my card base. Okay, so far so good. I'm happy with that. I wrote really elegant, lovely looking card. Now let's go over to the sentiment from the stamp set, and we'll choose one, and we're going to use that for our layer. What have we got here? We have I think we'll make this a nice thank you card, and we'll put thank you. I think that's what we'll do. Okay, so I'm going to need another piece of cardstock to stamp on. Pull something from my pre-cut drawer over here. I have scraps somewhere, but just not in reach right now. I'll grab an acrylic block to stamp this sentiment with. Okay, I'm going to use the Gina K Designs Black Onyx ink for this. Just ink that up nice and good. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out using some circle die. So I have here the Spellbinders nested circle dies. Now I don't have the original packaging for these. I'll see if I can find a link for them, and I'll try to link them down below. But there are 2 sets to these. They might not even be, I mean, they might be discontinued. They're fairly old, but the 2 sets layer inside of each other. So you have, I've marked them set 1, set 2. Set 1 is the smaller set. So we'll take one of the smaller circles and see if we can find one that fits nicely. Yeah, I think this is the best one. And then we have to find the next one up from that, and it'll create a very beautiful, delicate border. Okay. Perfect. I'll just run that through my die cutting machine. I have that off to the side. I have a Gemini Junior, so I'm going to just trim that out a little bit so I can fit them both on the plate. Just use a little bit of washi tape to tape these down. And we'll get that one at the same time. Okay, so I have my Gemini plates taped together in the formation that I use most often. If I ever have to change it, then I just peel the tape up and change the sandwich layer. But for the most part, basic dies, this is how I run it through. I use the bottom plate, the clear shim, the metal, or not the metal, the magnetic shim, and then the top plate. So we'll run that through. There we go. We have a thank you and a metallic circle. And we'll just put these off to the side, and these will layer together beautifully and create a gorgeous medallion. I really like that. I'm super happy with the way that turned out. So now we will adhere our circle to our other circle. Beautiful. Okay, and then I'm going to use some foam squares to pop this up. Now, I have these foam squares in a large roll that I get from the Dollar Tree. This is the most cost-effective pop-up foam tape that I've ever seen. These cost $1.25 Canadian. I'm not sure if you guys have a Dollar Tree in the US, but it's possible. I hope so. It might be Canadian. Either way, this is the product. This is the packaging, what it looks like. I tried to look online to see if I could link it, but it's not available anywhere. So if you're near a Dollar Tree, it'd be worth checking it out because, I mean, you get a ton of these foam squares and they're already pre-cut. You just peel them up and peel the backing off and they're fantastic. So just a little tip because I get asked about those often. Okay, back to our little medallion here. We'll pop it up with some foam squares and we'll peel off the backer. And back to our card over here, and we'll find a nice placement. I really like that. Okay, beautiful. Now for this card, I think I'd like to embellish it a little bit to add some, whoopsie, to add some sparkle to it. Let's see if we've got anything that matches. I have this gem container from Michaels, and it has all of these beautiful gems in it. Maybe the clear ones. Yeah, the clear ones are really nice. They pick up the iridescent sort of rainbowy, and they'll play off that pink nicely. So they come in 3 sizes in this tin. They come with the faceted gem, or they have the shiny pearl. So there's white, pink, peach. There's only a peach pearl and a pink faceted gem, and then like a sort of teal and mint green, and then a gray. So this was a really great value, good bang for your buck when you use a coupon for those. You get tons, and I mean, I've been digging through these for forever and haven't seemed to got to the bottom of them. So let's get rid of that pearl there. Oopsie. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I'll use a jewel picker to help me place these around and just kind of sprinkle them. I don't have any rhyme or reason. I just pick them up and just kind of place them where I think they'll look good. And if you find that your jewel picker is not picking stuff up, it's because the wax is not sticky. So these are little jewel pickers that I've got from Michaels, cheap little things. I mean, I don't want to pay tons of money for a crystal katana, even though it looks awesome. But I like to save my money for stamps because I have a serious addiction. Gina K is my favorite, and I just can't get enough. Also, I just found out that Gina K was in Cornwall over the weekend, and I could have just died because I so wish that I knew, because I would have drove there. I would have went for any class, anything to see Rena and Gina, because they're my favorite people. Gina's really my biggest inspiration. Her and Jennifer McGuire. Everything I've learned, I learned from YouTube videos from those ladies. So kudos to you guys. You guys are fantastic, and the industry wouldn't be the same without you ladies. So that being said, I think I'm done. I think we're going to call this card complete. I print these off using the Dollarama labels. These labels come in a package with 10 sheets and 30 labels per sheet for $1.25. You cannot beat that price. That's 300 labels. So I print them off using, my printer and this free site, Avery Elle. I'll link to a video at the top here. You'll see it. To another video that I show you how to create labels using Avery Design and Print Online. So you can create your own labels for pennies and label your cards so that they look absolutely beautiful. So mine says Original Handmade Cards. This is a Jenny Card Design with my email address and my Facebook page. So I usually just put those to the back of my handmade card, and then everybody knows where they can find more like this. I usually pick an envelope that I think matches nicely. This envelope is not the same pink, but it'll do. I pair it with an envelope, and I have these clear adhesive bags that I get from a local packaging store, and I slip my card and envelope inside these clear packaging, and I remove the release paper. If my card has a greeting on the inside, I will stamp the greeting a second time on a scratch piece of paper and slip it into the back here so that you can see what it says on the inside. But since this one is blank, we'll leave nothing there and seal it up. And this card will be ready to give to somebody when I need it, or a sale. You can sell them at a craft show, or whatever you want to do with your handmade cards. So that's it for this video.
If you stuck with me right to the very end today, I appreciate your support. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.